first arrive in any new location, I must strike a delicate balance between observing a place, understanding the context in which I'll be shooting, and photographing as soon as that happens. For much of a photographer's best work is made when it all seems new and inspiring. I had been to Italy once before, but that was years ago, and I had never been to Sicily. It's a gritty place with the weight of history in every crack. The Normans, Arabs, Greeks, Romans, Germans, and Spanish all controlled what came to be known as the most conquered city in the world, Palermo. It would be the perfect place to start one of my two main projects I'd be working on over the next 3 months, titled A Time of Transitions. The world is changing as a whole. There will be a before COVID and an after. I'm changing too. Approaching 30, I'm finding myself thinking about my legacy and children and the perspective in which I view my projects from. Furthering the feeling of transition would be the fact that over the next 3 months, we wouldn't be staying in any one accommodation for more than 4 days, allowing me to play with the idea of stability, where and how I might find a way to anchor myself with no physical space to act as a constant. There's a lot of factors that go into deciding when you want to start shooting. For me, I'm shooting early in the morning, late in the evening, not just because of golden hour. I know it's kind of a classical approach. However, it's more so there's so many tourists in the middle of the day, as well as in the mornings, and in the evenings you have people setting up, breaking down, a lot of visual interest there. Just saw people carrying a ladder, carrying little watering buckets for the plants, things like that. So right now we're gonna go to Palermo Market and see what's going on over there. Let's go. Palermo Market is ancient. Dating back over 1,000 years, the street food here is some of the best in all of Italy. Behind one of the stalls, we managed to catch up with a couple local vendors bringing some fish to market. One of the age-old questions in photography, especially with beginners, is how do I manage to get a stranger on the street to allow me to photograph them without any issues? And the answer to that is just confidence and radical honesty. If you're approaching somebody and you're shy and you're acting a little weird and you're trying to sneak a shot and leave, that's going to perturb just about anybody that I can think of. In contrast, if you're confident and you're unashamed and you don't feel guilty about what you're doing, that's going to set them at ease. So I think it's just about getting you and your mindset right before you get going for the day that's going to make all the difference. He just told me this is fresh salmon, so they're bringing it into the market so they can sell it on the other side. This is kind of like the back of the market, but yeah, they just probably caught this a few hours ago. Okay guys, taking a break, eating some granita. It's supposed to be 103 degrees today, so we're going to call it quits right now and come back a little bit later. Having grown up in Florida, I'm used to the type of hot temperatures typical in Sicily. The problem was, the heat that came was anything but typical. And on August 11th, just a week into our trip, temperatures in Sicily broke the record for the hottest ever recorded in Europe at 48.8 degrees Celsius or 120 degrees Fahrenheit. Complicating matters further, we had no air conditioning. The heat was oppressive, and doing anything but lying down in front of a fan was a tall task that carried a real risk. After escaping the heat for a few hours, I wanted to find some fishermen to speak with and photograph, but wanted to get a little information first from my friends back at the market. After some help from Google Translate, they told me the best area to visit. Upon arriving, we were treated to a unique scene as a man was cooling off in the water with his German Shepherd and his horse. The sun was getting lower in the sky and the light was not as harsh as it had been just a few minutes earlier. I got to work, and the man didn't seem to mind. We spoke in between photos and exchanged information. On the way back to the Airbnb, I noticed a man in glasses selling garlic that hung from the back of his white van. It was a beautiful scene, and we spoke for a few minutes about his life. He asked for a photo with me hanging the garlic around my neck. In return, I made a portrait of him, and it felt good and honest and how the world should feel. Over the next couple weeks, we took a moto trip across the northwest of Sicily, a train to Cefalù, and wandered around Catania's fish market. Our next stop would be Pozzuoli, Procida, and Ischia, but no matter where we went, Sicily would forever, quite literally, be baked into our hearts.